Morning, welcome to Lucky Speaks again. Um, this morning, I just had to say something with regard to the Zelensky debacle yesterday. Um, Zelensky obviously went to the White House and was essentially thrown out, sent off with his tail between his legs. And I think the trouble is that Europe, over the past few years, they've just basically allowed this guy to do what he wanted to. They've enjoyed the ability to go to war with Russia without actually going to war with Russia and taking all that risk. And they basically just kept funding this guy. And of course, he was walking into the White House and talking to basically a corpse in Biden who never really did anything. And his advisors in the background were obviously happy to let a war go on because it suited their purposes. And when he turned up at the White House yesterday, he got what he deserved. He walked in there basically demanding money again, thinking he was going to get it, and seemed shocked that Donald Trump, who Zelensky had actually campaigned against on behalf of Kamala Harris in the election last year, he was actually going to tour stops and speaking on behalf of Kamala Harris. So why would Trump want to support him anyway? Just on that basis alone. But I mean, there's a lot of people say to me, "Oh yeah, but Ukraine this, Ukraine that." Well, let's have a look, shall we? In 2014, they signed the Minsk Agreement, which obviously there was two parts to it. There's a part one and then there's a part two. And the crux of it, from our point of view, really is that Russia signed those agreements on the basis that they would allow, the annexation of these countries, but NATO was not allowed to advance east into Ukraine. And so when the war started, and Zelensky was running around then saying, "Oh, well, he wants to join NATO and all the rest of it," rather than turn around, as we should have done at the time, and said, "No, that would be a breach of an agreement we signed. Get stuffed. You do what you want. You're at war. You carry on. You do what you want to do. But we're not going to allow you into NATO." We should have let him get on with it and do his own thing. Stuff him out of NATO. No chance. Shouldn't be allowing it. But instead, they fed him the line that he would be allowed to join and it'd be okay and all the rest of it. And of course, Biden would have gone along with anything because he didn't really know where he was, let alone what Ukraine even was, what it meant. I mean, he thought it was a feature film, I expect. Um, and now Donald Trump's in the White House and he's actually saying, no, we want peace in Ukraine. Now, it's got to be achieved either with Zelensky or without it. And Zelensky going in there asking for money to do this and do that and threatening that, oh, well, if you don't join in, maybe, the war will reach you one day. No, you're at war. The world ain't at war at the moment. But the way you're going, you're trying to create it by demanding to join NATO. That is, that'll drag us into a war. That'll be a problem. And Trump stood firm and said, no, get lost. You're not doing it. I want peace. I'm not on anybody's side. I just want peace. Pack it in. Now, I'm afraid, Ukraine, you joined into a war. You got it. You wound up the Russians to the point where they had to get on with it. So you've had a battle. You're losing. Most of your male population is dead. And the ones that are left don't really want to fight anyway. They're all conscripts now. You've got to recognise you've lost. It's over. You're not going to beat Russia. You never were going to beat Russia. Let's face it. You needed Europe and America to join. Well, not even Europe. You want America to join in because that's the only way you beat Russia. And you ain't going to do it. And America isn't going to join. Biden was as dopey as hell. We could all see it. We knew he was mentally challenged before he even got in the White House through that little coup they had. He wouldn't have stopped in the way. Yeah, you had a chance last year, but you blew it because Biden got thrown out. Kamala Harris was just a joke. I mean, just ridiculous. No one was going to vote for her. I mean, I don't believe she got the total she did get, let alone anywhere near beating Donald. But it's over. America is not going to join in. America's going to stop you fighting, if anything. And you just got to back down, sign up. And if you lose part of your country, I mean, Ukraine, probably 70% of Ukraine likes Russia. And that's the thing, or at least 50% like Russia. And the other 50% are pro-Ukraine. But Zelensky's got he's got a minority support now in his country because he's destroyed it. And it all started, he only had 50% support in the first place. And now he's had everybody's sons and daughters and wives and husbands and everything else killed. There's a lot of support that he's lost. And it's time. And I think if he doesn't actually get on with it, I can well see him getting him out themselves. I mean, if some of his generals don't suddenly turn up one day in his property and lock him up, I'd be very surprised. I mean, that's the least of his worries probably from them. It's time he got on with it. Mr. Trump's right. Negotiate a peace. At least you get a chance to have a say in it. But you need peace. Russia's going to keep what they want. What they've won, they're going to want to keep it. And they won the war. So who are we to say they shouldn't have it? That's it. You shouldn't have gone to war. You should have negotiated at the start. Johnson turned up there and talked you out of signing a peace agreement right at the start. It would have been all over back then, but for some reason you allowed Boris Johnson to come in there and talk you into keeping the war going. We all know why people wanted the war keep going, because the military-industrial complex in America and in Europe wanted to sell bombs, sell missiles, sell bullets, sell equipment. They make money from war. And then you've got the Democrat Party, if they get 100 billion sent to Ukraine, well, we already know, you already admitted half the money they've sent out of 178 billion, something like 100 billion is unaccounted for. That doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, someone's made a lot of money out of this war in kickbacks by the look of it. I mean, as I understand it, I seem to remember that the crypto guy that you arrested at one point in America, that guy, apparently he was shipping money to Ukraine through his crypto because that's how Ukraine got a lot of their money, as I understand it. So, I mean, that guy's probably, I can't remember his name now, but whoever he was, he probably had a lot of it, and he was funding money back into the Democrat Party. In 2020, he was one of the biggest donors next to George Soros. So, you've got things to sort out. Pack it in, son, and let the world get on with it. Nobody supports you anymore. Keir Starmer, he might turn around and say, oh, Ukraine, British, the Brits, oh yeah, we're really behind. No, we ain't. Your average man in the street couldn't give a toss anymore. We really couldn't care less anymore. It's just another pathetic foreign war we got no interest in whatsoever. It makes no bloody difference to us, not a blind bit of difference to us. So get it settled. Get on with it. We don't want to see you anymore. As for turning up in the White House in a tracksuit, like it's some sort of, I don't know, some sort of donut. I mean, put a suit on. You're going to meet the President of the United States, the Vice President, and all the rest of them, Marco Rubio and everybody else. And you can't be bothered to put a suit on. And you think it's funny, so you want to talk to a journalist and have a bit of a joke at his expense. Oh, yeah, I'll probably get a suit like yours, maybe. Or, oh, maybe I'll get a cheaper one. Nobody gives a shit, mate. You're not funny anymore. You weren't funny when you were playing the piano with your cock back when Ukraine Got Talent, whatever it is, where you were on. You certainly ain't funny now as a little tin pot dictator, 4'6", and full of crap. So pack it in, get out the news. We ain't interested no more. And thank God for Donald Trump. He's going to put you in your place, even if nobody else does. Europe won't be able to refuse, because Donald will just say, this is what's going to happen. Europe, if you don't like it, have NATO to yourselves, and we'll pull out. We all know the only strength in NATO is America. It certainly ain't the British Army anymore. We ain't got enough people. We underfunded our army for years and years and years. We don't support our troops. I know plenty of troops. And they all say the same things about the army these days. They might be the best soldiers themselves. They believe they're the best soldiers. Fine. But if you ain't got the best equipment, it doesn't matter, does it? It's no good having the best air force in the world if you're flying biplanes, is it? So, pack it in. Let's get on with it. And then we can sort out Palestine next. And I know the way we can sort out Palestine. And it sure ain't sticking on the side of a load of Hamas terrorists. Terrorists are terrorists. I don't care about anything else. The reason that innocents die in Gaza is not because the Israelis are targeting them, or there's a war going on, or anything. It's because Hamas hide amongst their own people. And these people have voted Hamas in. And every time there is a vote, they vote for Hamas. So they're voting in a terrorist organisation. They know they're building tunnels under their own houses. Sorry. Don't come out and support them and then wonder why you're suffering when they get shot at. You've got to shoot them somewhere. And they know full well that if they hide under a hospital, the hospital gets bombed. They're more culpable than anybody. If there's any genocide, any of this rubbish going on, Hamas's fault. Anyway, I'll come back again. Thank you.